What is up, guys, and welcome to a brand new festive episode of the Fresh Air Show.
Hello!
Yep. It's that time again, and once again, we are joined by Emerald Soldier, aka Michael.
Hello!
Yep, we've been good. Now, the holidays, they're here at last.
Yes!
Seems like forever because, my goodness, 2020 has been just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I remember when 2016 was the hell year.
Yeah. But enough negativity. Let's dive into the positive side of things. So, how have you guys been since the last podcast?
Been alright, trucking along.
Hmm.
College finished up, got the new timetable coming up with the new strain of the latest virus. Who knows if that might change up? Kind of hope it does. Kind of hope it doesn't at the same time. But, you know. But Christmas season is upon me. Us, rather. And now we can just take a moment to step back and breathe after everything.
Yep.
And now here I am with my good friends on Skype doing this podcast as I fold my laundry.
Nice.
So, Dudley?
The last 2 or 3 weeks I've been doing 2 a.m. till 10 a.m. shifts at work 5 days a week. So today was the last day of that, even though we had a few early finishes this week. So I'm free for 3 days. It feels good.
Nice. Michael, you been good?
Yeah, I've been good. I also finished my college for the Christmas holidays, obviously. But I've just been mostly annoyed at my laptop for reasons. But yeah.
Yeah, I can relate. My Mac's been pretty slow. So yeah, once again, it's the Christmas PUDcast.
Oh.
That's going to be in the title.
Oh no.
The Christmas PUDcast.
I don't even like Christmas pudding.
Either. Everybody start making puns so we have better titles now.
Yes.
Well, you know...
Sadly, you have my full position this time.
Speaking of which, guys, we should bring up that, before we start diving into the Christmas side of things, we want to tell our audience that we will discontinue the Fresh Air Show line of podcasts because, for copyright reasons, Fresh Air technically already exists, and we don't want to stray down that rabbit hole of copyright. So, we'll still be doing podcasts just under a different name, titled TBI, Those Bored Individuals.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll be a lot more original, so, yeah.
Not sounding bored in the podcast, just to clarify.
No, it's just... the thing is, I kind of realized too late that Fresh Air Show existed, and Fresh Air already existed, and I was like, well, we're already doing it, so I've been meaning to do something about it for a while, but yeah, this is our solution: rebranding.
Yeah.
A New Year's Revolution solution.
Yes. So, you looking forward to Christmas this year, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah. And of course, when it comes to Christmas podcasts, we have Christmas stories.
Okay.
And I recently, by my dad, have a story to tell. Now, kids, you might want to go play outside for the next 5 minutes or so, because you probably don't want to hear this part of the story. So, my dad, when I was about 5 or 6, decided to have proof of Santa's visit on Christmas Eve, which I think would have been the first time that would have been done for us, kinda. Now, of course, the normal indicator that Santa's arrived is when you leave out the milk and cookies, there's always an empty glass and cookie crumbs on the tray. And so, my dad decided to go a little step up.
Oh yeah.
And,
He ate the glass.
no, he didn't eat the glass. What he did was, because we had a marble fireplace looking structure, it used like actual lumps of charcoal, and so what he did is that he took one of those lumps of charcoal and he just rubbed it into the floor, basically, to make it look like Santa's footprints, basically. And so, yeah, he drew out the footprints. He even did like little small ones for reindeer prints, apparently. So, and on Christmas Day, rather, we walk in and there's no footprints anywhere. But we didn't know that. We were just like, "Yay, Christmas Day, presents!" And so my dad wonders, "Wait, what? Where did all the footprints go?" And my mum cut in saying, "Wait, those were footprints? I cleaned them up last night." So my mum thought my dad had just made a mess and just cleaned it up before we had a chance to see Santa's footprints.
No.
No, that was for nothing.
So, yeah, Dad wasn't too impressed with that at Christmas. What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
Oh, cute.
Good effort.
all that work for nothing.
Yeah. So, Michael, I guess now's your time to shine. Do you have a Christmas story you'd like to share with us?
Well, apart from a story that I always lost my phone the other day, which was really annoying. But apart from that, not really.
Alright. Anyone?
No, he has to say the story now.
Oh,
He
no.
brought it up.
That's why you say, no. Never give them an inch and they'll take a mile.
Yeah. Well, I had to I went to the shop to obviously get some Christmas treats and all that for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And me being dumb, I was just carrying all my Christmas shopping without bag, just all in my hands.
Oh.
Yeah, and don't even notice anything. So what I did, I obviously ordered it, and then I put it in with my phone back into my pocket. I walked out the shop, and I went to the car. I went to try and get into the car because my hands were full, and then went home. I looked into my pocket, and I thought, nothing's there. And I thought, my phone was possibly in my car. So, but it wasn't in the car. And I was like, oh no, is it in the car park? Please not in the car park. I went to the car park, not in the car park, and it went missing. And so what I had to do, I had to put it on Facebook, and then people know where it was. And it's obviously a Facebook group in my town. And lucky enough, someone found it, and they had it.
Nice.
So they hand it over, they luckily they didn't beg for money for it.
Yeah.
Where was it found?
I think it was found literally on the car park, I'm not too sure. like when he actually found it. But I'm just glad it's not broken.
You know, it kind of reminds me of this one incident because so far in my life I've discovered 2 lost phones. And I remember there was one instant where I found like this teenage girl's like BlackBerry phone, like as I was walking home from college, and I was like, "Hey, someone lost this. We need to find it. Whoever lost this phone." And so, my mum goes onto Facebook, and yeah, indeed, she searches around. We found this phone here. Does anyone own it? And yeah, we discovered the owners, and they drove up to our house, and they came and collected it. But
Well,
but I remember what annoyed me about this story was that my brother was curious as to what was going on, and so when this girl came up and my mum gave back the phone, my brother wanders out of the house because I'm watching from the upstairs window out into the garden because it I'm insecure, I guess. And so my brother walks out into the garden, and this girl thanks him. He steps out for 5 seconds, and she was like, "You're my hero, thank you for finding my phone." And I was like, "I'm up here!"
True heroes never get the credit.
yeah, for being shot.
Yeah. So,
Power of Facebook.
yeah, it's amazing. So, any Christmas stories you want to bring up before the next segment?
I'm sure I've mentioned it before when I talked to about that one time my dad handcuffed me and my brother to a desk.
Yeah.
I'm sure I touched on the reason why he did that, in that how my brother and I managed to break into the living room where all the presents were, like several years before when we were still kids.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever went into much more detail than that, so not that there is much more detail, but the aftermath was pretty funny. So what happened was, me and my brother were children, still in like the single digit age, like.
Yeah.
And we get up early, like as children tend to do. We get up when it's still dark outside, and we're like, "It's Christmas, it's Christmas, it's Christmas, Mom, Dad, wake up!" But this time we didn't bother with making our parents up because we knew that they were going to be like, "No, too early, go back to bed." We figured like, okay, they're not going to get up, so we may as well just do it ourselves. Our parents had locked the living room door, as they do every Christmas, to prevent just that, but this time around, we found where they had hidden the key. It was behind a poster in the hall. They were like, "Yay." And found it. We opened the door, and we found some of the presents. We didn't manage to rip through all of them when our parents realized what was happening, but still, they were pretty upset with it.
Yeah.
That's not the funny part.
Mm-hmm.
The funny part was what happened after that. As you'd expect, our mum and dad weren't very happy with the fact that we had just gone and done that without them. So, mum and dad seated us in the kitchen, and then our mum went and got the phone, and she looked at us and said, "I'm going to call Santa and tell how absolutely horrible you two have been." And then she dialed on the phone and went off into the hall and started talking, and we were like, "Ronan, I think we messed up this time."
Oh, God. Yeah.
I think in the end what she actually did was call my uncle or someone else just to tell them what just happened for the heck of it.
Jeez.
From the way she was talking, like, "Yeah, Ronan and Brown broke into the living room and opened a bunch of presents before we could get there," and you're like, "Santa's gonna take away our presents and we're never gonna be in the nice list ever again."
Oh, God. Oh.
And that was that. I presume that was on Christmas Day as well.
Yeah, that was Christmas Day. It was just really early in the morning.
Oh. So you spent the whole of Christmas Day like, what presents?
Most of Christmas morning, she was on the call for a while, and I think at one point our dad took a picture of us, because recently we found a picture of us all, me, Ronan, at the kitchen table looking terrified for some reason, and he was like, oh, that must have been when he thought we were calling Santa.
Yeah, but
in the end,
I think. Sorry, you go on.
I was just going to say, in the end, Mum did come back and said, all right, Santa says because you've been very nice the past few years and this is your first offense, he'll let it slide. Just don't do it again. And me and Nathan were ecstatic.
Yeah. So, wait, hold. Your dad took a picture of you on that morning just looking mortified?
Yeah. He's a sadist.
Jeez, I never understand that. Like, why... when parents try to get your kids involved in the holidays, and yet the end result is like, you've got them sitting on Santa's lap, and yet they're in tears because they've never seen this strange person before. Is it really worth getting them in tears just to have that one photo? Like, they'll be scarred for life. They'll be scarred for life, but who cares? They've got memories.
I think it's more a case of you weren't originally setting out to have them upset, but when they got upset, that's when it's worth taking a picture of it, because then you can share the memory in the future.
In my case, my dad knew that this was something that we were all going to laugh about when we were older, and like, we were such brats, and was obviously just wanting to memorize the moment.
Yeah. So.
And guess what? Me and Ronan do laugh to this day.
Yeah. So, Dudley?
I always...
Names,
well,
please.
Just going off of Rowan's story, it's like, sometimes I tease my sister and I say, I'm going to wait till your wedding day and I'm going to have this picture ready. And it's like, beautiful revenge. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Peace on earth, peace on earth. Thank you very much for listening to the Fresh Air Show.
So, I haven't really got a special story, but I thought I'd share a tradition that we always had, because I'm assuming you have your fair share of Christmas traditions every year, I imagine. So, basically, the way Christmas Day used to work is we'd wake up in the morning, we'd get a couple of presents from our parents and stuff. Then we'd spend Christmas Day at my mum's parents, so my nan's. So we'd go up the road, we'd go there, we'd have Christmas dinner, and then you had to go through the long process of waiting for everything to be washed and dried, because we didn't get to receive all of our other presents until we'd had the Christmas dinner and the washing up. So it's just us there twiddling our thumbs like, come on, presents. Presents. And we know they're upstairs. It's like we can't go upstairs. We were too good to like do anything like go upstairs and open them or anything like that, but it was where like, come on.
Yeah. You know, I think all of us are happy to receive a white Christmas every now and again, aren't we?
Yeah.
'Cause, sadly, for the past 10 years, apparently, we've not had a single white Christmas where it's been like 2 feet of snow on Christmas Day. We've not had that in a long time. So, geez, I really need to put more effort into these snowstorms.
Well, it's 30 Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it snows on Freshburg because it's a tiny little island, so... Anyway, I thought it would be an interesting experience to just talk about our snow day stories and just... Because if it doesn't snow this year, this is the closest thing we're going to get. So...
Yeah.
So, have you lot been a fan of snow?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We've not seen snow in a long time. Because Storm Emma, a couple years ago, just dumped 10 years worth of snow in the space of a week, and we haven't had much of it since.
Yeah.
So, apart from this year, the 4 years before this year, it's always managed to snow to a certain degree on my birthday in February, which is really weird. Like, you go through the whole February without anything, and then just a little sprinkle, or maybe some would say.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I swear.
Sadly, someone's stealing your job. Or Daniel, rather. I'm getting my key names mixed up.
But which reminds me, I do have a story involving snow, and it's basically the first snowball I ever made. Okay, so I was about 4 years old, and we had just moved into our new house, because for the past 4 years we've been living in an apartment, but now we've got 2 floors and a front and back garden to call our own. And so, I'm not sure if it was Christmas Day specifically, but it was still in December, and there was about 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground, and a lot of the neighborhood kids were running about, having fun, and because I was new to the area, they decided to come visit me and sort of have fun in my garden, basically, because, hey, we're new, and this is what we're like here, so... And so, everyone was... everyone decided to have a snowball fight. They were all being very careful here, because, you know, I'm young, and a snowball to the face will instantly get you in trouble. And so...
A snowball to the face instantly kill me.
That's what I was expecting them to say.
Well, no. But I'd never made a snowball before, and so I think some of the kids, they taught me, like, okay, this is how you do it. You take a bundle of snow, and then you start rolling it up and pushing it along the ground. Because that's what cartoons apparently taught you. However, when you see 2D cartoon characters rolling up a snowball, they don't specifically tell you that you need to be rolling it at all sides.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, I started rolling up the snowball, and I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this is going great. And I did a full lap around the garden, slowly pushing my snowball along, and I was like, wow, this is getting really big. I don't know if anyone else is getting their snowball this big. But when I finally got back to where I had started, it was just a giant flat cylinder. and so I just rolled it over to the other kids, and I was like, yeah, what do you think? And then it just toppled over into the snow, and I just was like, yeah? Childhood innocence at its finest.
And thus Fresh Powder was born.
Yeah, but because I didn't roll the snowball at all sides, it was just a giant flat cylinder instead of a snowball. But
I don't know why, but I picture it like you're rolling up a carpet while you're going along the garden.
it's kind of what it was like, yeah. But to be fair, when you see 2D cartoon characters rolling up a snowball, it doesn't look like a ball. It just looks flat, basically, because, well, technically I was doing it right the whole time, so...
Doing it with cartoon logic.
Yep, exactly, yeah. So, snow days. Any snow stories you'd like to bring up?
The closest thing I can think of is I wake up one morning in April, and I open the curtains to my room, and I see, it was like April or something, and I see my street is completely covered in snow, like the plows hadn't even been out, and my brother and his best friend are out there playing in like their dressing gowns and socks, and Ronan sees me, sort of waves with both his arms, like, look at this, and he sort of goes to an untouched patch of snow and stomps into it just to like show me how deep it actually is, and I'm like, that can happen? It can be that deep? Oh my god. So of course, when I throw on all my warm stuff and go out and have fun, it's just like, I was just amazed at how deep it was, and the fact that it was in April was also really thing, because in my child brain it's like, it's only supposed to snow around Christmas time. What? Why? Is this allowed?
Yeah.
One fresh powder, you're drunk.
But that's not true. I don't drink.
Hopefully not at the age you were when that happened.
I don't drink. So, Michael?
Yep.
Any snow-related stories you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, pretty much. The last time, if I remember, it snowed while I was in secondary school, and I'm pretty sure it was like the last year, and it started snowing pretty badly, like a storm mostly, and we were all still in the school, and I had to, the school decided to do, everyone to go home.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. And I was happy about that. I was like, yay, I could go home. But the thing was, my home was very far away from the school, and my mom was at work, and I had no way back home with a lift.
Oh.
So I had to walk all that way in the snow, going up hills, going down hills, going all the way down,
Jeez.
and finally making it in my house and turning almost stepped over a couple times.
Wow. Jeez. I remember that happened to me at one point. I was in primary school, and just it was snowing. It had snowed throughout the night, and for some reason it was like, okay, we've been at school for 2 hours. Let's just send everybody home. And yeah, it was a beautiful day. Coming home to my grand's house and just getting to spend the day making snow angels. Oh, it was glorious.
I wish when I could have gone home, it was like in the morning, but it wasn't. It was like 3 o'clock anyways, and well, about to head off anyways.
Mm.
So, and it was getting dark. I think I can't remember now, but.
Oh. Well, thank goodness you made it.
Yeah, I'm still here. Who am I?
Oh gosh. So, Dudley?
Oh boy, here we go. So, whenever I'm racking my brains to think of a Christmas story, I don't know what, there's always one I think, shall I tell that one? It's like, nah, I can come up with something better than that. So, I think I just need to get this one out, okay? So, in the garden, we made a snowman, and, you know, it's just sitting there, it's got its smiley face and a carrot, and there's a pine cone led next to the snowman, and he's not a snowman unless he has his pine cone, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Dudley!
Oh no!
So,
I just got it.
so he got a pine cone as well.
Oh,
And
God.
that was a cherished kid moment, so yes, there you go.
So we had a little pine cone thingy.
It was a big pine cone.
Oh no!
You have to be specific there.
What? It made a great bow tie. I don't know what you guys are on about.
Oh, thank
Ralph, you're being oddly quiet.
I didn't have to give a bow tie.
How do you do the women equivalent?
Also, it's like gingerbread men. If it doesn't have a pine cone, it's a woman snowman. It's a snow woman unless it has a pine cone.
Or you could just put 2 pine cones, just doing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And there's no men don't have genders.
Yep. So I just had to get that story out finally. So next year I'm not thinking about it. Anyway.
No, we've thinking about it.
Well, you can just share it.
Right.
But what have you got against bow ties, Michael? Anyway, I've got another conversation about snow, but it's a lot nicer than that. Well, for what I say, nice.
Okay.
So one morning I finished work. I'm not going to name where I work, but let's just say it was an early shift. And so usually it takes me 20 minutes to drive from my house to work. And it snowed heavily while I was at work. So we finished, and I wasn't able to go home on the motorway because it was quite thick. So I had to drive through town, which usually is like a 5-minute difference. But instead of it being a 20-minute drive home that morning, it took me an hour and a half to get home because I hadn't had a lot of practice driving in snow. So at one point I'm driving through town, and for 3 seconds, instead of the car moving with the wheel spinning, it just slid for 3 seconds.
Ooh.
And on one hand, it was like, oh god, this is a weird feeling. But on the other hand, it was actually kind of like, whee, this side feels quite good.
It's like the Matterhorn at Disneyland, basically. Just this giant ice roller coaster, like, whee!
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, why does slipping create such a terrible feeling in your body? Like, it's just, yeah, you just, in the moment, like, whether it's you slipping or someone else slipping nearby, suddenly it's like, oh my god, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Because gravity often things are not. You're supposed to put one foot in front of the other, complete in an alternating pattern. So when you flip it, like, no, this is not right.
Well, it's the
When
same.
going in slow motion as Ave Maria plays in the background.
Yeah.
It's the same feeling you have when you're on a roller coaster to me. It's like your body's being carried, so you've got no control over your footing or your balance. But then you don't get that feeling when you're swimming. But then you've got more control when you're swimming. So I guess that's the factor.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. So, will there be a white Christmas this year? I'm hoping and praying that we might see a few flakes before Christmas Day, but yeah, it's out there.
I don't think I will.
Thank you very much for listening to the Fresh Air Show. Well, guys, it's time for the Fresh Air Show's last segment of the month's most ridiculous headlines.
I rustled the chocolate wrappers. That's a Christmas themed intro sound.
I thought you could easily mistake that for applause, Dudley, so.
Maybe I should do that more in the future.
Yeah, however.
Alright. In this month's news, Russian scientists defrosted several prehistoric worms, and 2 of them woke up. After thawing, the 2 worms began to move and eat. One of them is 41,000 years old. Not this year, guys. Freeze them again.
I thought you were going to say 41,000 meters long or something. Sorry, Val.
I was just saying, bad timing, not the best year for this sort of thing, tempting fate.
Yeah, but this story reminds me of a story that I remember, and it was a pretty stupid thing that I believed as a child.
Yeah?
So, in cartoons, normally when something is frozen in a block of ice, once it's thawed out, it just comes back to life, basically.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like a frozen caveman, usually once it's thawed out, it goes on a rampage, etc. And so I remember this story. I think it was about, again, 5, and my dad was preparing a seafood boil at home, I think, and he had this large block of ice full of frozen langoustines. And I had never seen langoustines before. And quite frankly, I was like, ugh, what is this? What are these little monsters? And my dad just left it out to thaw in the sink. And I was like, Dad, you might want to do something. These things are going to come back to life any moment now. So yeah, that freaked me out because I honestly thought these little crustaceans were gonna come back to life and yeah, just infest the whole house. So yeah, that's out there.
There was always talk, especially when I was back in college doing animal management, that they reckon they're able to get mammoth DNA from like frozen mammoths, so they think that one day they could restore mammoths as a species potentially.
Ooh.
I don't know if
on one
that's
hand, mammoths are cool. On the other hand, haven't these people seen Jurassic Park?
exactly. Well, that's what it makes you think of, isn't it?
But what harm can a mammoth do? I mean, it's not like
They're
it's
giant, they have tusks, they can run you down, and they could go for miles, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
But so can an elephant.
just put them in Siberia. Nobody lives there.
Fair enough.
Okay. Here's the next headline. It's also seafood related.
Oh,
A group of self-cloning crayfish that were created as part of an experimental breeding program have taken over a cemetery in Belgium.
well,
Yeah. So, somehow, self-cloning crayfish have invaded a Belgian cemetery.
you had me at self-cloning.
Is it in bad taste to think, if let's say there's a crayfish called Bob, and he clones himself and there's Bob 2, Bob 3, Bob 4, Bob 5, does that mean they're having a funeral every day for the same Bob at the gravesite? Like, just like,
Who knows?
the thing...
That could be a great animation series.
Could be.
Oh, I don't know.
It all comes down to how do you make a crayfish look cute?
And terrifying.
Yeah, looking up picture of crayfish now.
I think when you said that, while I was looking that up, the first thing I thought was, you know, stick insects. They don't have to breed; they can just keep making new stick insects over and over, which makes me think, why aren't there stick insects ruling the world at the moment? Because there should be hundreds of them now.
Yeah.
I remember having them as pets. Didn't go well.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, crayfish are just regular looking lobsters.
Yeah, but they're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
The crayfish are cloning themselves. The langoustines are being restored from prehistoric.
And wouldn't you know it, this next headline is connected somehow to restoration. So,
Following a thread, I see.
yep. The first complete T-Rex skeleton is locked in a fight with a Triceratops skeleton.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yep, because I think apparently T-Rex skeletons are hard to find completely intact.
Huh?
Because I think the only intact T-Rex skeleton in Europe is probably Tristram. Found in Germany, I think. So yeah, 2 of the most legendary dinosaurs locked in battle, even in fossilized death.
Cool.
So, yep, I hope to see that someday.
It
Thoughts?
makes you wonder how they died.
I mean, we have theories.
Yeah. And probably one of the biggest headlines to come up this December, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about here. A mysterious metal monolith was found in the Utah desert, looking remarkably like the monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh God, no!
Oh dear.
It's here. It's actually
Don't remind
here.
me of that movie. I've done my video on
Didn't
that.
that randomly disappear after a while as well?
Yeah, and
Yes.
for some reason it keeps popping up. Like that, literally days later, it was found in Romania.
Okay, either this is telling us of the end of the world, or there are some very dedicated pranksters going on.
Yeah, that's what it apparently was. Like, I think apparently it was like artists joking around. They got inspired, but apparently some of these monoliths got removed because I think there's a rule that says you can't put art down in an unregistered area. I think.
Oh,
Someone should have taken a Bill Cipher statue and stuck it there.
Oh
That
my
really
God.
would have messed with the mouse.
Oh God, Bill Cipher.
It wasn't even art, it was just like real.
Yeah.
Real on the wall.
But still, it was pretty cool while it lasted. So, just to round this sort of segment off, I remember I was walking through Tesco's, recently, and I remember seeing this toy advertised, and I just thought, there is no way anybody's gonna buy this. And what it is, it's a mandrake from Harry Potter in a pot. Like a plush mandrake.
I've seen that.
And what's worse is that it actually screams when you uproot it. Why?
Well, okay,
Why
let's say you're the audience of this, a Harry Potter fan. If you want to own every creature from Harry Potter in your collection, then you're gonna want a mandrake, right? And what better than one that screams and
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't stop screaming until you put it back in the pot.
but
And
neither does the one in the film.
oh God. Ugh.
But I think a puppet piranha plant is a much better choice, though. Just gonna say. So.
yeah.
Although, speaking of bad toy ideas, I remember there was one toy that my brother got one year that got really annoying really quickly.
Yeah.
So basically, have you heard of a little old toy that was advertised called Brian the Brain?
Not for years. No.
Basically, it's this little plastic brain in a glass dome with eyes and a mouth. It was like a little toy robot thing, and basically you gave it different details and it would get smarter as you talk with it, I think. And so
Yes.
and so my brother wished for it and he got it on Christmas. And yeah, I thought, yeah, good for you. I didn't ask for this, but if you're happy to receive it, then good for you. But my brother, I don't know what happened, but for some reason it has like an alarm clock setting in it, and it makes like this big exaggerated yawn when it reaches the alarm time. And for some reason, in the month that followed, for some reason, at 6 o'clock in the morning, we would just be subjected to this. Hello. It freaked us out so bad. When I first heard it, I was like, Scott, what are you doing this early? Until one morning, it just went like, "Hey, Scott, zzz, hey, Scott, zzz, hey,
Oh,
Scott, zzz." And in a little bit, yeah. But that was sort of the last straw. It just kept on repeating that phrase until my dad just threw it away. And we were like, yeah, we're sick of him too. So,
yeah, that was.
And he's still out there somewhere, trying to get back.
oh God, please tell me he hasn't joined your side, Dudley.
Well, I won't say it didn't cross my mind when you said it. But
You probably just gave him the idea now.
I was like, can you think if you walked into a dark room and then suddenly it went, in the corner? It's like, oh God.
Scott.
Oh God. Next segment.
That sounds like it's something from a horror creepypasta or something.
Yep, indeed. Thank you very much for listening to the Fresh Air Show. Well, it's come to this, the last segment of the Fresh Air Show podcast.
Yay!
And to bring this podcast to a close, we've got a few presents to open here.
Yes.
Yay!
Apart from me.
Oh, don't worry, Michael, I got you a present. I got you the gift of friendship.
Yay!
There,
I
now
also-
no one's left out.
Well,
Yeah, just for those of you wondering about this, basically, a few of us have sent each other presents, and Michael hasn't got one to open for the podcast, but I did get him Star Wars Squadrons on the Xbox One, so he has
Yeah.
got a present.
yes,
Nice.
more definitely.
So, yep, we received several packages in the mail, and I've got mine here.
I have been here as well.
So, because it's Christmas Eve, I need to bring up that there are some families out there that have this non-official tradition where if you've got really impatient kids who want to open their presents immediately, some families have a tradition where on Christmas Eve night you get to open just one present to satisfy you until morning.
Yeah, that's what my mum and dad did for a while.
Also, it doesn't help that I teased Rowan and Dan with these presents by sending it to him about 3 weeks ago. So,
Yeah, and in response, I sent one to Dudley, so he wasn't left out.
yes.
So, yep, I've got mine here. I think I'll start opening mine now.
Nice.
What could it be? Feels pretty solid. Yeah, this must be a pain for the audio, just hearing this unwrapping.
My headphones sound weird.
Oh, look at this!
What is it?
It's Giraffe-a-Rig from Pokemon. It's a Giraffe-a-Rig plushie.
And if I did it correctly, that is an official Japanese plushie
Yep.
from the Pokemon Center. So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Dudley.
that's okay.
So, who'll be next?
I am currently attacking layers upon layers of tape, so give me a minute.
Yeah.
This is going to be awful for the audio as well.
Well,
So I wanna ask you, Rowan. I said to you, I gave you a hint, and I said your present is twice as long as the actual box it came in. So what sprung to mind?
I could only think like a scarf or something, but I don't know. I suppose I shall see. Yeah, tape.
oh, the anticipation.
Sorry. I swear there's more tape on this thing than there is box.
Yeah,
I
that-
haven't actually taken
Packet
Dad's card off mine yet, so that could take a little bit, but I'll try.
Yeah, the one I sent you, Dudley's got a lot of layers, so
Okay.
yeah, just be prepared.
I'm going to start hacking at getting the card off while Rowan's doing that. So,
Alright.
Work with me.
what's happening?
Welcome to Fresh
Someone's
Powder's
gonna
ASMR.
backwards.
What is this? I've never seen this before.
Oh, the listeners are going to be very
I don't know what I
confused.
done.
Yeah.
Lots of free.
Alright.
For those of you who don't know, a green screen image has come up with the four of us on a flight of stairs sat together.
I thought I was just gonna do my camera thing, and then when I was gonna affect everyone.
So, Rowan, how's the progress on yours going?
I'm not thinking, man.
the
What?
tape. Dan's card is taped to the package, so I'm trying to get it off.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've never sent a package before, so yeah. What is it, Rowan?
it's the spirit.
Oh, for it.
Yay.
Another Pokemon plushie.
I like how you two go both across similar things.
Oh, ferrets in the green screen.
Which
I
I
thought
think
you'd
the
like
background.
that, Rowan.
I'm just getting mine out of the package as well, so there we go. So, now it's your turn, Dudley. What's in yours?
Thank you.
Oh, it's like foldable. That's cool.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I
Yeah,
quite
it's got like a wire inside it, so you can pose it to like perch on things.
It's genius.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll admit, it's not a Japanese one, because the only Japanese one I think going is that life-size one that's like 1,000 pounds. So, but I thought that was cute.
Alright. Well,
I'm going to read Dan's card. From our house at Christmas. To Dudley, Christmas is a special time for families and friends for loving and forgiving and joy that never ends. Best wishes at Christmas from Daniel. Stay fresh. I like that.
yep.
And I'm going to see what Dan has given me. Ooh. Okay, we've got the brown packet out of the way. Bubble wrap out of the way.
Yeah, several layers, like I said.
The silver layer wrapping out of the way.
Yep.
And, ooh, I see a Pikachu staring at me. What's this? Nice, that is awesome.
What is it?
It's Mega Constructs Lucario. Dan, that is an awesome choice.
I was trying to get you the Mew one, but I couldn't find it, so I just went for the next best option.
That was a great next best option. Actually, Lucario looks better than Mew from the box art. But, that's really
Yep. So, yep.
Um,
This is just a little taste of what's to come tomorrow morning.
And I'm the new guy that got something that wasn't Pokemon.
So,
I just opened the card Dudley sent me. And, we've been playing a lot of Among Us recently, and I often take the color pink, and I have been labelled the Strawberry Killer whenever I'm imposter. He's a little doodle of the card with Death Strawberry Killer and me sneaking up on Dudley. I'll send a picture of it later to put up on the screen.
yep.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll send a picture of this as well.
yep, we all will. Well, guys, that's it. That's the Fresh Air Show done and dusted. So,
We should meet on the staircase more often.
Yes.
yeah. So, yep. Remember, we're not done for good. We will continue to do podcasts, but under the name TBI, Those Bored Individuals.
That's gonna be
Alright, catchy.
Yep. So, guys, tomorrow it'll be Christmas Day. Oh, It's going to be amazing.
Wait, just funny.
So, yep, that's it, guys. That's our Christmas podcast officially over. So, anything you want to close out with before we go?
Yes, don't eat too much seafood over Christmas because the seafood crisis, they're rising. Watch out.
Oh no.
It's all this plague business has done. It's the crustaceans we'll have to worry about.
Yep. So, from all of us here at the Fresh Air Show studio, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Boy.
See ya. Have a good Christmas.
This is the end of the Fresh Air Show podcast. We thank you all so very much for listening to us over the past 3 years. If you wish to hear more from us, please tune in to the TBI podcast, Those Bored Individuals. Thanks again for listening. Goodbye.